Hello, and welcome back to Foreign Currencies with Scott. I'm your host, Scott. So, today we're going to look at a trade we could have gotten in this morning that turned out to be quite good for us. And we're going to, in the process of doing that, also introduce a new drawing type, which is trend. So, we've talked before about an uptrend and a downtrend, that concept of when the candles are moving from left to right, they're making higher highs and higher lows if we're going up, and lower highs and lower lows if we're going down. So when we draw the trend line, we'll actually see that in action. So right now, the middle of the chart and the bottom is 1700 today. We're going to go back to yesterday at the close of the New York market at 1700. So there we are. Okay, and let's just close up on that a little bit. Down. Okay, so we can see the gap here between the two green candles, and we're going to go ahead and tap the chart, select drawings, select horizontal, and we're going to tap the chart at the top of that green body. Now I just happen to magically get the very bottom of the body, so I'm going to put my finger on that line and put it up to the top. Okay, so that horizontal line now represents the close of the New York market. And we can see from the rectangle on the left there that it was at 1.3555. And I say it that way again because it's 50 pips and 5 pipettes, if you will, but 50 pips plus 5 pipettes. Okay, so we watch the market after that, although we don't need to sit there and watch it, but we get up at the beginning of the London market to see what's happened. And you can see that after the New York market closed, the pair went up and down above the line, but mostly above. But then by 9 p.m. here, 2100, and then leading into 2200, it went down quite a bit. And it was at that point that after that, it stayed below the New York close. So as we move through time here, at midnight, it tried to make a little move there. It got a little bit past that at 1:30, but not much. And then it just started going down. Okay. So again, remember, we're looking for a move away from the New York close of at least 30 to 40 pips. I can assure you this is way more than 30 or 40 pips. So in fact, let's look at it again. So the rectangle in the middle on the left now is 50.5. So let's look at where it was at 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m. here, now in the center of the screen, it was at, indicated over on the right-hand side, 1.3480. So 50 down to 80. So that's 70 pips. 70 pips to get back to 1.3550. Okay? So 3 a.m. when the London market opened, this is not a good time to enter a trade. Why? Because yes, we want to look for a trade when it appears as if the market is going to head back to the close of the New York market. But at 3 a.m. and even from 3:05 to 3:10, as you can see from the chart here, we were still headed down pretty hard. Now, at the beginning of 3:10 and 3:15, it looks like we hit a low there. And you can see this from the green candle at the bottom in the center of the screen, where all of the wick is beneath the candle, and the candle is also green. So that's a very bullish signal, and indeed, it turned out to be very bullish indeed, as the pair did not go any lower than this for the rest of the London session, and I think even beyond that, but at least for the rest of the London session, it did not go below that. So this is about the time when we're going to draw a trend line. So let's just see what we can see here. So we'll see some significant points where, and I'm just trying to get this so that we can see more. There we go. We can see at some significant time points if you look at the bottom of the screen there, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 8 a.m., 10 a.m. Okay. We want to draw a trend line. We tap the chart. We're on drawings. We go down to trend. And it's basically, a trend line is made up of 2 points. So our first point is going to be the bottom of the movement that I pointed out just a minute ago, and I missed it horribly there with my fingertip. But you draw a second line, tap a second time, and that's what puts the chart in there. So now I'm going to try to move this bubble up to, and my finger's actually in the way, I can't quite see it. There we go. Now the bubble is over the bottom of that wick on the green candle, marking the bottom of that downtrend. So now we're going to put our finger up above the second bubble, and now we'll be able to on the bubble. Now we'll be able to pivot. As you can see, now I'm pivoting it. So now we're looking for other points where this line has touched. Okay, and you can see that if I move this slightly, okay, we've got a couple more points here that it has touched and not crossed, or just about touched and not crossed. So this is an uptrend. Quite clearly, this is an uptrend. So if we had gotten in and said buy because we want the pair to go back to head back towards the close of the New York market, we'd be in a very good position now, because we would enter, and I'll just do a horizontal line for describing. Okay, so we would enter, make sure we didn't get it exactly right, but we'd enter somewhere around here. That's 65. So 45 is 20 pips below that. So it's well below the low. So it's going to be hard for the pair to reach that. Can it? Of course. The pair at any moment could turn around and go the other way south with a vengeance. But we're just looking at our trade method here, where it's good to have a stop loss that's below the low that we've hit all day. And our take profit, now we have said the take profit, the ultimate target is the close of the New York market. But remember, that's at 135.5, 135.550, I think it was. And now we're at 134.650 or thereabouts. So that's a good 90 pips away. Now that would be a great profit, and we're going to talk in a much later video about how to maybe leverage some higher ratio trades rather than just the 1.5 to 2 to 1 ratios that we're looking for when we go for a 20 pip stop loss and a 30 to 40 pip take profit. But we're going to make it easy on ourselves, and we're going to put in a 40 pip take profit. So from 65 here, that would be 05. So 135.05, that's the 65 plus 40. So our take profit would be somewhere up 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, our take profit would be somewhere around there. Okay, now, did we hit this? Yes. So was it a winning trade? Yes. Did we make 2 to 1 ratio on our risk to reward? Yes. So all is good. Now, notice that we drew this trend line, and we were able to draw this trend line. The pair never went below it. Now, I just want to look at some things that will come into play later as we do some more advanced trading, or at least have more experience with this trading, which is that trend line did not break. The pair did not break through that trend line until almost 11 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, and once it broke through that trend line, then the pair headed down again, and you can see it even went down past our take profit, and it doesn't matter what it did after that because we simply don't care. We have a very short-term view of what we're trying to do here, but we were able to take profit, and we could have taken profit even further. So in that other method, once we get to it, we could have held all or part of our trade until we got all the way up to here. Once it crossed the line, heading back down, we would definitely get out. Okay. So another potential trade we had today, and it was a very successful trade. And so we'll work more with trend lines in upcoming videos, and hopefully we'll continue to have success with our demo account. That's all for today. So until next time, I've been your host, Scott, and this is Foreign Currencies with Scott.